everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Morgan and I have post-viral fatigue syndrome. You guys, if you've been watching me for a while, you know every now and then I come out with a video just discussing like life with post-viral fatigue syndrome. Anyway, I just wanted to chill with you guys tonight, and I just wanted to talk. I'm getting more and more concerned because with the coronavirus, I'm sure post-viral fatigue syndrome is going to become more prevalent. In a way, I don't want to say it's ever good, but at least people are going to have no choice but to give this disease or illness the attention it deserves. What I wanted to talk about with you guys today is how to get an official, real post-viral fatigue syndrome diagnosis. There are a lot of people that experience post-viral fatigue, which is fatigue that lasts longer than the virus itself. However, it doesn't become chronic. It's just literally post-viral fatigue. But then after a while, it becomes something called post-viral fatigue syndrome. If you guys want to see my story and kind of what happened to me, I can definitely share some more videos. I have a whole playlist about my experiences. But let's talk about the official diagnosis so you guys know what you have to do to take care of yourself. Because 9 times out of 10, just from my experience and from what I see, a lot of people know with this disease or illness that they're not right. Like, this illness is so prevalent and is so foreign from normal human behavior, you kind of already know right away there's something wrong. And it's not really like an assumption. It's just kind of like, no, my body's just not, no, this isn't normal. What I do want to say also is post-viral fatigue syndrome could happen to anyone. You don't need to have other underlying conditions there's thoughts that people that are more depressed or stressed are more prone to something like this. But that's more of like a chronic fatigue outlook. There's like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, but then there's post-viral fatigue syndrome. So there's like a little bit of a difference between that and chronic fatigue. Post-viral fatigue syndrome is brought on by a bad viral infection that kind of just keeps rejuvenating itself and it never fully goes away. It looks like chronic fatigue. You are susceptible to fibromyalgia with it, but there is a slight difference. And I've talked to a lot of people who have the chronic fatigue fibromyalgia, but I haven't talked to anyone who has officially post-viral fatigue syndrome. So let's just try to relate to each other, and let me just try to help you out in getting the diagnosis that you need, or hopefully after listening to me speak, you could luckily, hopefully say, you know what, I don't think I have it. I think I'm going to get through this. That's best case. First and foremost, I want to say this is not something that you want. This will change your life drastically and in all circumstances, job, children, different daily normal human activities. It affects your entire life. So I also don't want you to use this video as like a one and done. I don't want you guys to use this video as solely used for diagnosing yourself. You need a professional to look at you. And here we go. Let's just start. Okay, so at first you need to have, I'm only talking about post-viral fatigue syndrome. I'm not talking about fibro or chronic fatigue syndrome or central sensitization. Well, let's just focus on the PVFS. That's post-viral fatigue syndrome. You need to have a really bad viral infection. A lot of people say it comes after the flu. Mine was after the child's virus called RSV, respiratory syncytial virus. Listen, it doesn't matter what kind of virus you have. It just matters, is it severe enough to have harmed your body into making your fatigue chronic, okay? It doesn't matter. A lot of people try to say, well, it wasn't the flu, or all you had was a child's virus. It doesn't matter. Does not matter, okay? 2, all viral symptoms leave other than fatigue. So that is correct. So some of these viral infections could go a really long time. Sometimes people could have a really bad bout with mono, or in my case, my RSV, I had it so severe I had to be hospitalized for it. Had it for a solid 3 weeks and then started to incline on health by maybe week 4 or 5. Like, you're not really fully out of the water. So if you have a really bad viral infection, don't panic. It does take like a month or 2 to really start coming back to normal. But yes, you do need to have some sort of bad bout with the virus. And all the viral symptoms, such as the runny nose, coughing, sneezing, ear infections, all of the infections are gone. Okay, if you still have those symptoms, then you probably still have some type of virus that is active in your system. So don't panic, but it might not be post-viral fatigue syndrome. To get a correct diagnosis, you have to, listen, I'm talking correct, on paper correct, not hearsay, not self-diagnosis. You have to be following up with your primary care physician regularly, okay? Post-viral fatigue syndrome should not go unnoticed or not tracked. If you are just like, you're gonna want to treat with a doctor anyway if you really have this condition, because it is going to be so detrimental, but you need to be working very close with a doctor that you trust to navigate, because they need to document you. They need to watch exactly what you're doing, because this illness mimics thousands of other illnesses out there. I mean, there are so many things you could have other than post-viral fatigue syndrome. You must be treating with multiple professionals, okay? Multiple doctors and specialists that your primary care physician should be managing for you. Because with post-viral fatigue syndrome, yes, you were extremely tired, but there's a lot of other symptoms. There could be gastrointestinal issues. There could be dizziness issues. There could be heart issues. There could be head issues. You wouldn't believe how much neurologists can help something like post-viral fatigue syndrome. Because post-viral fatigue syndrome, believe it or not, is usually connected to neurological problems such as migraines and dizziness. And my biggest professional was a neurologist that helps me the most personally. It's just very strange. You would think like a rheumatologist or somebody, but post-viral fatigue syndrome is not under a rheumatologist line of care. It's its own illness. But listen, when I was getting diagnosed, I had a treating neurologist, I had a treating cardiologist, I had a treating ears, nose, and throat doctor for vertigo, I had a treating gynecologist, I had a treating gastroenterologist, and then I had infectious disease doctor. So that's 6 doctors other than my primary care physician at the top of my head that I have routinely worked with the entire time leading up to my diagnosis. And that is because so there's no special test for post-viral fatigue syndrome. You can't walk into your doctor's office and get like a swab or anything. The way this disease is diagnosed is through exclusion. You have to rule out every other and I saw a rheumatologist. Okay. So that's 7 specialists at the top of my head. You have to rule out every other possible disease, osteoarthritis, like, I'm sorry, but sexually transmitted diseases. You have to clear all that. And I always laugh, me and my doctors always laugh, because we always say, I'm the healthiest sick person they know. Like, all my charts are completely normal, everything's fine, yet I am plagued with this ridiculous illness. You have to be getting routine blood work. This is gonna fall in line with your primary care physician. And the reason why you get a routine, constant blood work is because you are looking for bacterial infections, you're looking for Lyme disease, you're looking for underlying bouts of mono, and a lot of the times, these certain things don't come up positive right away. You need to be routinely getting blood work to check all of this. You have to check your thyroid, you have to check pregnancy. I was so nauseous. My doctor thought, well, maybe she's pregnant, you know what I'm saying? But obviously I wasn't. So, yes, it's a lot of treatment. You have to be ready for a lot of treatment, because you're not gonna just get a PVFS diagnosis first visit. It's just not possible. It's just not possible. Also, so a next thing that I run into a lot when I talk to people is, and I wanna make this very, very, very clear, you could not have an official post-viral fatigue diagnosis syndrome until 6 months after your viral infection ended. So you can't go to a doctor on month 3 and say, I think I have post-viral on month 3. You're not going to get the diagnosis. You may have post-viral fatigue, but it actually takes up to 6 months for it to be identified as a chronic condition. And again, I pray that doesn't happen to you. I pray that you don't make it to month 6. Truly. 6 months. Social Security will not acknowledge it until month 6. Your doctors won't acknowledge it till month 6. The only thing your doctors are doing right now is managing you and checking you to make sure there is not something more severe going on that we don't know about. Post-viral fatigue syndrome is very severe, but I'm talking other more detrimental diseases. So my next piece of advice when it comes to getting the PVFS diagnosis is, it kind of just falls in line with everything I'm saying. Don't stop treating. Don't stop making doctor's appointments. Don't just take a break on it. You know what I mean? Don't not go to your cardiologist because, well, you don't think it could be cardio. You don't really feel anything in your heart, or I'm not going to go to neurologist. Don't do that. You must, because there is a lot you could learn from a lot of different doctors. Don't go to your nurse friends, because you know what, in my experience, I saw a lot of professionals, and I have a lot of, and I don't want to come off as rude, but the reality is this: a nurse is not a doctor. I have not talked to one nurse that had the same opinion on what's going on with me as the doctor that I treated with after. The doctor that I treated with after always was more knowledgeable, always had a more educational look on the symptoms. So please don't stop treating with doctors and go to like nurse friends on the side for help, because I'm telling you, it's not gonna work. Also, you really wanna keep treating to, one, hopefully find somebody that can maybe find a curable issue for you. And 2, you're gonna need some paperwork if you wanna take care of yourself, because post-viral fatigue syndrome isn't something that you're gonna be able to just live normally with. Like, it's not gonna go away if you really have it. Let me say, it's very debilitating. It is very hard to live with. You're gonna want doctors for paperwork and just to have, like, in therapists and everything like that. This is a very serious illness that please don't take lightly. So keep up with your treatments, stay on it, because at the end of it, the goal out of everything you're trying to do for yourself is to find some type of way to manage what's going on with you so your life can go back to as normal as it can be. We want to just treat this as healthy as possible. Okay, so after everything that I talked to you about and why I talked to you about it, the final step is obviously go to a reputable doctor and get the diagnosis. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Small town doctors, local doctors in your area, they're not going to be able to appropriately diagnose you. You're going to talk to a lot of ridiculous doctors who have zero idea what post-viral fatigue syndrome is really about. It is a very little known about illness that is very unfortunate. That is why I think the corona victims and what's going on now in society, I have a feeling healthcare isn't going to be able to turn a blind eye to this condition, because so many more people are going to be getting this, and it's going to be thrown in the limelight a little more. There's a lot of people struggling behind closed doors. I say this all the time, and this is why I make these videos, because I want to let you guys know you're not alone. Look out for this. Don't stop fighting for yourself. And I'm here. I'm like straight up. But listen, when it comes to the final diagnosis, go to someone real. And I'm talking travel. For me, I knew my local doctors just weren't, and they were even telling me, maybe you should go. Some of these doctors are scared to like own the diagnosis, because it is such a tricky illness, because it mimics so many other symptoms of other diseases. Some doctors are a little hesitant to put it on paper. That's why you go to the source. I went to Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida. I waited for months, and like months, to see this doctor. Not even kidding. It's hard to get into Mayo Clinic, but they're the only ones who realistically have a plan and own the diagnosis and are confident in the diagnosis. And that's people you need to get in front of. Also, I live in Pennsylvania. I called the University of Pennsylvania. There was not one doctor in the entire University of Pennsylvania. That is a prestige medical school, prestige, very highly respected. Not one doctor in their entire system acknowledged post-viral fatigue syndrome as an illness. I had to find a rheumatologist. I had to find her under chronic fatigue. And let me tell you something, even when I treated with her, she had nothing to share with me other than I had fibro and good luck. I'm not even kidding, not even kidding. Listen, go. It's gonna take you time. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope this was helpful. And if you're struggling with this, know you're not alone. Write to me. You could ask me questions. I will try to get back to you. And don't stop fighting for your health. And don't let people bring you down, because we're gonna get through this together, okay? I love you guys. Until the next video, bye.